Look at her just smiling with the phone. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another review of P Valley. I'm here with my awesome co-host. Who I'm gonna start off with first? I normally start off with Jamal first, but I'm gonna start off with not Miss Mississippi, but Miss Bowie State.
Oh,
Desire. You know you got a lash deal. Stop playing with us. We already know. We know you got a lash deal. I see him jump to Dollar General. I ain't miss him. I said, "Oh, look at Miss Bowie State show." You was about Mariah Carey's complexion in the photo, just like Miss Mississippi was.
Wow.
I said, wow, look at that. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing marvelous, darling.
That's what I'm talking about. Next up, I got my other awesome, beautiful, and I'm going to say beautiful, so it's fine, beautiful co-host, Little Murder's next concubine, Jamal.
I will take it.
On?
I will take it.
Like T took it? Is it like T took it? You set yourself up.
No,
you set yourself up for that one.
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things, and that's why Luke did not drink before he get
at all. But I could teach. I could teach Tig some things. Since you want to go there, I can always flip it and reverse it.
And I didn't notice because of that, but I noticed because of other things. I noticed he didn't arch his back properly during the insertion period, and I said, "See,
we not gonna give him too much. We gotta ease in there. We got to ease in there,
like Lil Murder was trying to."
Yo, stop this. We gotta stop this.
No one will respect this. No one will respect this.
Okay, so we are on episode 4. I want to say that this one is called Demethrius, and I think it's based off of Roulette's brother's name, and that's something else we're going to get into later in the episode. But the first point to start off this show, and this is something I actually heard from other podcasts, and I wondered how it will relate to this episode and to us here. The COVID plot points. Do they at all feel a little aged? Like it does. It feels a little. We've been here before, and not as fresh as you would have liked this episode to open up. And I'm gonna start with you first, Amaya.
What you mean? No, I think because so here's the thing, right? There's a key point in the episode where they refer to 2020. So we have to keep in mind that even though we are in 2022, that they're still giving us what it's like to get to 2022. Yeah. So I don't feel like it's over the top. I actually think it's not. I kind of like the way they played on it because it almost looked like they were going to get away with doing the shit that we've been doing, right? Which is people kind of going in with their mask, taking their mask off when they get in there. Now somebody is in there trying to enjoy themselves. She janky for that. But, and then it's like, boom, in your face. I really like that because it's like, oh, they can get caught too. Like they can catch these violations too. So I think they played it out very well, in my opinion. But what do I know? I don't
What's your thoughts, Jamal, on this COVID backline storyline?
I completely agree because you got to remember strip clubs and clubs in general, lounges in general, when things started opening back up, though there were the guidelines. I mean, hell, you go to the nail salon today, they still had, well, I don't know, everybody else, I know mine, they still have, the dividers, the plexiglass and everything of that nature. So I think the only thing I think might have been a little ass backwards, and I might be jumping ahead a little bit, is the curfew situation. Because it's like you wide open, and then you're gonna put a curfew.
I'll say this again: it's not too far jumping ahead because it is something that I don't think. I think they did a good job at hinting towards why there was a curfew, without bringing up the incident that led to the curfew. I think at this point, I think we can all understand that the curfew had to do with the murder of George Floyd. And everything that happened. So. again, only reason I brought up the time period is because I heard other places, I've heard other people of the show talk about, well, why are we going back there? And I thought it was great, especially with you two and your very intelligent ways of putting it. Like, no, technically, we still should be in this time frame, and we should be advancing forward here. So that's what the curfew was for. Because at that time, the moment George, the video went completely viral,
Right.
every city started doing curfews,
Right.
especially in black neighborhoods, because they were terrified of what we would do because of what was happening. So
don't take me
that
back.
is it, there. But let's jump into a fun part of the episode at the beginning, and that is something we've been waiting for, and that is someone finally pulling Miss Roulette's card. That's her and Brazil. I want to say is her name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's off of the wax or the country, but hey, stripper Brazil off of here, or Pele as I'm going to call her, as she decides to pull Miss Roulette's card after the Pynk gets shut down after our sneezing stripper sneezes on the city. I don't even know what position she has in the city. I just knew I remembered her from season 1 when she blew all her money after she got divorced.
Take my money.
Exactly. After all of that happens, and then we get the big reveal, like the guy asked for the girl with the dick sucking lips. Clearly you're doing something in here. So I'm starting with you, Jamal. What did you think about the whole scene encompassing of the way it opened up, from the stripping at the beginning with then the stripper sneezing in her face after she begged the stripper to take her mask off, sneezing in her face, to the big fight? And I was going to say not only the big fight, but the conversation with Big L and Roulette after the fight. What did you think about just that whole first 10 minutes, I'm going to say, of the episode?
You know, I knew it was coming because we saw the prelude to it last episode when the guy was in the VIP area trying to get one of the girls to top him off. And he was like, nah, my man said he came through, was a girl with some dick sucking lips, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then it's now circulating this rumor. And that's when we find out, you know, Brazil puts 2 and 2 together, like, bitch, it could only be you. Because we've been here and ain't no dick sucking lips, bitch, in here since we've been here. You the only one new in here. So if there's an old country saying, a hurt dog will holler, and we saw once she jumped out there and pieced her right in the face. And I mean, that right there was just that's all I'm gonna say about that part. But to jump back to the very beginning, it was hilarious for me to see old girl back in the Pynk, because I knew it was her from season 1. I knew it was her. And you know, she on the same thing, like, just take it all. But the way she reacted when, I think her name was Toy, something with a T. When she sneezed, and her reaction, I mean, that was all of us at the beginning of the pandemic. I mean, that's still me now. I hear my coworker cough too much, I'm gonna need you to log out for me, homie. It's not happening. So, you know, it's one of those things that's still very real. With her conversation with Big L, is it?
Yeah, that was her and Big L.
You know, I actually did like that part, because it was almost like I think he was trying to cover himself, but also trying to humanize her as well. Like, he could see that inner demon within her that she's fighting, and he wants to be somewhat of an ally to her, but I don't think it's as genuine as he was trying to pass it off as when he was first conversing with her, until she got to asking, well, what was y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? What was you doing with Eminem? That's what she called him. And so I think he was just trying to cover his tracks so that she don't get to running her mouth. And that's why he decided not to fire her. So, I mean, all of that, it was just like, wow, it's only been 10 minutes and all of this has happened.
Yeah.
It happens in the strip club all the time.
I hope not. Strippers ain't just randomly sneezing on people. Amaya, what did you think about the beginning of this episode?
I mean, that probably was one of my favorite parts of the episode, because the slow motion, the zoom in, the actual like pellets, the germ, they were so gross. And I'm just like Jamal. Like, I was in the office on Tuesday, my coworker, she sneezed. I said, you got about one. And we laughed because she knew what I was getting ready to tell her, girl, listen. So I do think that it's real. You know what I mean? It's realistic to see that. I did think that roulette. Listen, I'm not gonna hold you. Shorty deserved that ass whooping because the way she was pulling her bottom lip. And I've been that person where people be telling me, first of all, in 1998, when that shit became a thing, I thought that DSL was the internet, okay? And somebody was like, "You got some DSLs," and I was like, "Internet? Like what?" And it was a completely different thing because it was dick sucking lips, right? But the way that shorty was pulling at that bottom lip, like, "Who was going to be?" I was like, "Oh, she about to get her ass." Like, you deserve it. I was about to come to you, shorty. So she deserved it. I think that Big L was actually, I think, like you said, he saw her demons, he saw what she was dealing with. She's battling some other stuff, not just here at the Pynk. I think he was genuine. She wasn't like, she wasn't, well, he wasn't talking to her just to cover up his tracks because I don't think he would have brought that up if she didn't bring up what. So there's that. So I think that it was a genuine moment that got turned a little shady.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say nothing, I ain't saying nothing. So, but Roulette, when I listen, she's definitely giving me I will beat your ass anytime, any place type of vibe.
Yep.
So I wasn't surprised at all.
What would you do if another stripper calls you out? And then Uncle Clifford, after breaking them up, says, "This is the Real Housewives of Chuckalisa." Like, as they filming everything as it happens. Again, it was just a funny moment to have to open up that episode. But the next big thing that happened is we discover, again, as we talked about earlier, Miss Mississippi on tour in front of her, I want to call it a billboard, in a beauty supply store.
It is a poster.
A poster.
It is just a poster.
Don't you stun her, bro.
It's a
don't you stun her, bro.
Out of here, sir. Goodbye.
Don't you stun
her, billboard is actually on a board.
It was on a glass board attached to a window.
Okay.
But there we get her as she's proud that she's opening up. We see Gidget again, who again we've not the first time seeing her this season, but also we get to see the rest of the crew on tour as even Lil Murder like, where's my publicity at? Where's my advertisements at? And he said, well, you want a lash deal also? I could probably get one.
That was a funny part.
Just what did you think about this? Again, as we see them back on tour again, we see Miss Mississippi thriving. We see them look at the video of the Pynk, and Miss Mississippi makes some disparaging remarks about the Pynk. What did you think about that? And again, we're going to start with the person we ended with last time, and that is Amaya.
Sometimes people go up and forget where they came from. So I think that she is having her moment where she's like, here I am. But I don't want to be back there type of situation. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I feel like it was a little shady, but it was also like, I'm glad I'm not there. And I think sometimes people do it,
I agree.
There we go. I'm about to say, Jamal, what is your thoughts just about that entire situation?
I agree to a certain extent. Like, we all see where we've come from and we see where we are, and we like, I couldn't do that. But it's like, yeah, you can't do that now because you've overcome it, but you had to do that then. So don't bite the hand that fed you, because truth be told, let something go wrong, you will be back. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, if it wasn't for how things played out during murder night, you would be there now. If we gonna, if we gonna call a spade, let's keep it all the way real. The reason why she's hustling so much on this tour with Lil Murder is because she's not welcome back there no more. But as far as her poster in the beauty supply store, I love that she has dreams. I love that she has dreams and aspirations, and she's getting these things because it's almost like she's kind of putting her stamp on like developing herself and getting bigger than what she ever thought she could.
Mhm.
But if I can't have a moment to be a conscious awareness, I don't know if y'all paid attention on how she commented on how she looked, because she was like, I'm looking a little, I don't know the
Mocha
color.
brownish.
It was something. She was pretty much referencing to how she looked lighter than what she actually is, and she kind of felt some type of way about that. And that is also a very big thing, especially with us blacks in the South, because that goes back to Jim Crow era, when they used to lighten us, when they would, advertise us
Exactly.
into the white. So I like that little nod to it, like show me as I am, but eh, it is what it is. I think she should not bite the hand that fed her for so long, though.
Yes, and again, that's the main point we were talking about as pertains to Keyshawn and Little Murder, or Miss Mississippi, as most people like. I like Keyshawn because it sounds more classy. But the next thing to talk about, and I'm going to throw this one to Jamal, about Hailey and Corbin. Here again, I've always thought Corbin was innocent. I don't know why. He just seems innocent. He's light skinned. Light skinned people seem innocent to me, but he's always seemed innocent. But in this season, he's taken a turn for the evil light skinned guy.
Not the evil Lord.
And the evil light skinned guy, that's what he is so far this season. But here we get the confrontation with him and Hailey as he again attempts to buy the Pynk from her. And we saw in the prior episode with Hailey when she brought up, like, she fully understands the value of the Pynk and what it's worth in the long run. Here he doubles his offer to her. What did you think about this confrontation between them two and possible ramifications it could have moving forward?
It showed me that he's not only vicious to his brothers, because remember, last season his brothers were trying to was trying to have him sell his share of the property that their father left the bastard child that they referred to him. But I always saw the evil in him, not trying to be like Nino Brown, but I never liked you pretty niggas anyway. The way that he's coming off, he's trying to boss up on Hailey, because it's like, I have the money and I have the means. You need my money so you can get your means, and so that's why he doubled his offer. But Hailey flipped it on him, be like, you see how quickly I got you was able to double your offer.
So I know I'm worth more.
That checkmate, right? Because they've been offering me a $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And I did well. He doesn't know that, but they've been offering her that money from the casino, and she didn't jump when they offered. So, which makes you think I'm going to jump when you're offering me just $1 million? You don't know what they offered me, so it's like she knows how to play with him about this because she knows how desperate he is, but she's trying to hustle. She's trying to show she a businesswoman and see who's going to give her the biggest amount. But she don't know that her selling it, what it means to everybody else affected by it. Because it's not just a building; it's a way of life to them. It's home to them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they're strippers. Amaya, what did you think about the scene between Hailey and Corbin?
I mean, Corbin is exactly who I thought he always was. I mean, everybody has a dark side to him. You give him enough motivation, and he found his motivation, and now he's like, here I am. He's like a snake, He still looks innocent. Those little snakes still look innocent, but they still will bite, and the bite is gonna hurt. So I feel like that's exactly where he is right now. And so I just like how Hailey is keeping her power almost. Like he keeps coming to knock snatch it. And she's like, but you thought, like, no, if you're gonna give me $1 million, you got more to give. I'm gonna hold out, and boom, close. Like the whole scene, the way it was done, where she didn't even say bye or anything. He didn't get a last word, and the door was that was it. And I really just enjoyed the scene with them two because they both light skinned did. So
Y'all not gonna do this colorism on this here tonight.
Hey, look here. We understand they are both two mulattoes having a mulatto battle, and all I need is Big Lotto to be in the middle of it to help them referee it.
I
It's
cannot.
like Big Lotto, Big Lotto, big like oh, that's all. That's all I needed to be in the middle of it to make this even better. But
Yes, sir.
speaking of something better, this is possibly my favorite part of this episode, and we get to see Andre again. This time going back home as he happens to
Baby.
walk into his house and hears strange noises from the bedroom because clearly at that point his wife is in some form of danger from
Yeah.
them noises that he was hearing as he goes upstairs and witnesses his wife giving fellatio, and yes, I use fellatio there, fellatio to her co-worker. Now normally I would ask, what do you all think about this scene? But what I want to ask, which is way more important to me, what do you think about Andre's reaction to it, considering we understand everything he's already done in the last couple of years as it pertains to P. Valley to his wife with Autumn/Hailey? I'm gonna start with you first, Amaya. What did you think about his reaction to it, knowing like he's already cheated on his wife with this woman multiple times at this point?
But did he?
No, he did not.
Thank you.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not. No, he did not. They never had intercourse.
Girl.
Mm.
Let me see where you going with this one. Come on.
Mhm.
Never had intercourse with Autumn. Now, yes, she gave him the lap dance. He was in. Okay, rephrase. They did not have a physical affair. There was an emotional affair there because Andre, or I would just say he was lusting very much. I mean, and she was too. They're very much in lusting with each other. So
When they beat off with one, well, when they masturbated with one another over the phone.
Girl 6.
Okay, listen. The point is that my man put a lock and key on his peen to not enter.
Did he? Wait.
Lou, I got you. Lou, hold on. Lou, I got you. Let her finish. Lou, I got you, brother. I got you.
To not enter, okay, the season of autumn, right? That's all I'm saying. So he didn't enter her.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. However, yes, I will say that he did some things that he could not tell his wife about, so therefore it would be cheating. But still, I mean, coming home to see another peen in my wife's mouth would do some things to me, considering that I wanted to smash that joint off and I didn't. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying it's right. I ain't saying it's right. I'm saying as a human, if I'm being honest.
Tony said it best though.
Don't come for me in the comments. It's okay. You can come for me.
I'm about to say Tony said it best. You can't be mad because love should have brought your ass home last night. But you've been in Chuckalisa.
He wasn't in Chuckalisa cheating though. He was in Chuckalisa.
No. Wait. Because is the author of Midnight Confessions telling me that emotional cheating is not cheating?
Pull that card.
Look at you. I said that earlier, did I not? I said there was no physical cheating, but there was emotional cheating. Some people deem worse than physical cheating. Right now. Go ahead, Jamal.
So, because I told my brother I had him. So here's the thing. I appreciate what you was trying to say about Andre not physically cheating. However, I gotta state facts on facts. It wasn't that Andre didn't cheat because he didn't want to. He didn't cheat because he couldn't. Because when he was coming back from the Walgreens with the condoms, the wife was in the lobby of the hotel last season. Let's not forget. So it's not that he didn't want to. My man was about to smash all of Autumn Nights. Okay? All them autumn leaves is about to fall right on your man. Okay? Let's just keep it real on that.
I'm gonna let you have
Now, as far as the wife, I'll be honest. When he first walked into the house, I thought she was coughing. I was like, "Oh shit, she done caught the vid." You know what I'm saying? I thought that's what it was.
Oh no, she was coughing. She was choking
Yeah,
a
she
little
was
bit.
because she didn't relax her throat. But I can
Look at you. Hold up. Look at you, treat. Look at you. And I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna say this first. Look at you teaching
I was about
Andre's
to
wife
say,
and T how to do multiple things. We have the most time. Listen, it's not a person more talented in a podcast P-Valley space right now than Jamal. He's out here giving lessons on lessons. But go ahead, Jamal.
I have taught a few girls, and they all have thanked me. So anyway, and so have their husbands. So, like I was saying, I thought she had caught the vid. You know, I thought she was coughing. He was like, "Oh shit, she's sick. Let me go. You know, cater to her. See, you know, come to her and aid." And whole time, whole boy just sitting there like, "What's good?" You know, as a man, we can take a lot of things. We can take our woman cheating. We can take her getting smashed. But what we ain't gonna take is another dick in her mouth. It's like you kissed me with that mouth, you kissed that dick with how I can't unsee that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if y'all saw that moment where it was like that, haha, gotcha bitch. Like now I can do it because you did it. And you can't say shit to me. But we got to I think that scene also unveiled a lot where it showed her he confessed about how her family was never accepting of him, how that big old house is really not his, it's hers, and her family has no problem in putting that out. And then she laughs your man out when he says he's going to run for mayor. Like it's one thing if my friends don't believe in my dreams, if my coworkers don't believe, but shit, you my wife. And I come to you with something and you laugh me out and tell me I can't do it. After I done caught you sucking another man, girl. Listen,
I don't think that's the conversation we're gonna have after I just caught you sucking dick. What I'm not gonna let you do is just laugh at what my goddaddy wants me to do for chucking
Lisa. Oh my goddaddy. No, I mean
after you was chucking and leasing on that dick. Like that's what we're not gonna do.
And it wasn't even like gag worthy, but that's another issue.
I missed it. I wanted to ask them to go back, but I missed it. But I really do. I wasn't happy for Andre in that moment.
Maybe he's a grower, not a shower.
I wasn't even happy for him or happy with him in that moment because I was like, are you still about to ask her for permission? You still telling this girl like why you're here? Like, what about get my shit and leave? Like, what's happening right now? And I was just like,
let me ask you a quick question while you're in the midst of that thought. Could it be because he believes because she said a very interesting thing when she said, "You're never here." She said, "I just wanted some companionship." Like she hints towards the fact that he's never there. We know he's never there because his feelings for Hailey. Could it be he didn't, while he caught her, he's not fully holding it against her cheating because he understands the situation he put her in. And here is him telling her, "I want to run for the mayor of Chucalissa." And she says, "My father's been trying to offer you and give you a job for years. And you take a position of attempting to take over for your godfather." Could that be an issue where it's a problem of their relationship and that she kind of realizes that you'll never be fully invested in it?
Well, the problem always is in that conversation where she says like, you know, the house was ours. And he says, your family, like Jamal said, your family never let me feel like this house was ours. They made sure of it. So the top off of this house not being ours, right? Me not really working the way I want to. Your daddy offering me job. Hey, I know. Listen, we done had one too many Tyler Perry movies where somebody's family member done offered them a job and they didn't take it. Especially when it comes to a man. Like that's not how the way men's ego works. So I'm hip that
way that man's ego work. I'm taking a job in a heartbeat, baby. How much you pay? How much you pay?
You pay? It's a different. It got to be a different dynamic though. Like if we are all good, fine. but there is a resentment. They don't like him. They've been pushing this man who she was just slobbing down.
But think about it this way: could it be a situation where their issue with Andre is that they never felt he was good enough? I think that's a completely different issue, because that's the issue as a married couple you have to work on. So you can't then throw in her face, this is not my house, it's your house, and your family never accepted me. That has nothing to do with her. That has to do with them. And that has to do with your own insecurities. Because if she's still telling you, no, forget what they say, this is your house. I'm trying to say this, and please put out your mind that she had that man's penis in her mouth. So just put that part aside.
No. That's put aside. That's put aside.
Yeah. I get but if you think about it, she's like, no, this is your house. These are your things. So as his wife, she's telling him basically, I don't care what my family thinks. I'm with you. Like, at what point do you think that she should be held accountable for her family's thoughts?
No.
If she the entire time is letting him know and fully understanding, I don't care what they think, that's why I'm with you.
I hear what you're saying, but no, because here's the thing that you have to realize: even though she's with him based on her feelings alone, she can never feel what that man feels, knowing this family does not like him, knowing that he knows this family doesn't think that she's good enough. And then also, because of the odds are already stacked against him, and then the father is offering him a job, that's like a backhanded compliment. Because say for instance, he takes the job and he's successful and he does everything he needs to do to be this upstanding man that almost is good enough for their daughter. At the end of the day is, nigga, you wouldn't have what you have if it wasn't for us. So all of that is playing. And that's why I said it depends on the dynamic. Because if we were all good, I don't have no problem working for your family because they're my family. But at the end of the day, shit ain't sweet, and that's your family. And I'm this man that my godfather helped raise. And I'm not about to take no job for no nigga that don't like me like that, just so he could throw it in my face every chance he get. It's not going down like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so aggressive, but
no.
It hit a nerve, and I just had to,
This is why I love moderating this show with you two, because the way you all think is awesome, and I want to throw something back at you, but I'm gonna throw it back and ask for Amaya to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because that way of thinking of saying the family never accepted you in the first place, and you not wanting to accept that position, do you think Tydell's children will feel the exact same way when they find out? Or because later on in the episode we find out that not only was he championing Andre over them, but he left the house that they were living in to Andre. Is it almost the same correlation between the way Tydell felt about Andre as it pertains to everyone else as Andre's father or family-in-law feels towards him? Because Tydell easily, it looks like, just said, yeah, I don't care about my kids. I don't care about the woman I'm with. I'm leaving everything to you. And what do you say? Live on, king. Rest your crown.
So here's the thing, right? I thought about this when I watched the episode, right? The last episode, right? Or the episode of the funeral, the woman made a comment about not liking the house. They don't stay there anyway. They was only just hosting the repast there. So it's not the same, because you complained about something. You ain't want it until it wasn't given to you. So you don't have no right to talk about it. So he's giving it to his godson because he knows one, Dre probably needs this, right? He has.
I'm about to say need can be it because he knows where Dre lives at.
Yeah. He has a hope for Dre. He has a dream for Dre. He only knows that it can be pursued while he is in Chucalissa. So he is giving him the step that he needs, the stepping stone that he needs to now rise to the occasion. It's not the same, only because, again, had they been living there in the house, had that been their main primary residence, then okay, you slide as your kids and the woman who's raising them, their mother and all that. Yes, absolutely. But the fact that she was like, we don't even like this house. We're not even here that often. It's just here. You can't take something away from somebody that they ain't really got or that they don't really want. Again, you only wanting it because you weren't given it.
I'll actually just to challenge you a little bit more here. But do you think it's a situation where that would be true if you left it to the mother? You didn't even leave it to your oldest child. Like what the mother's thoughts of the house is has nothing to do with his children. He didn't even leave it to any of his kids. And we saw how many children he has. He didn't even think, like, maybe I would leave it to one of my sons. Like, anything of that nature, instead of saying, I'm going to leave it to Andre. Granted, Andre is like a son to him, but he's still not his son. But so all I'm asking, not necessarily if he's wrong, because I don't think he's wrong. But do you think his sons can see that as a form of slight, the way Andre sees his situation with his in-laws? No matter how much his wife is telling him, I love you, this is yours, whatever I have is whatever you have. We clearly saw in the first episode where she, as you pointed out, Amaya, she was living in the basement and letting him stay upstairs in the house so he would be safe while she was going to work and he was playing Halo all day. Like, all I'm asking is for, do you believe it could be a possible correlation, not necessarily between the baby mama, but the sons, because it got to build some form of resentment of how did he choose you over us?
No, the resentment will come after, but it's not the before factor.
Not right now.
There are two different situations. You going into a marriage where these people do not like you already. Dad has offered you a job, but you know that job will come with strings for sure. Now, on the flip side, Tydell is like, how old is my oldest? I don't even know how old his oldest is, but they don't seem to be interested. 22. They don't seem to be very interested in doing anything other than what they already doing, which is just chilling. You know that Dre has high hopes, has dreams, has potential, and he just need that kick. He need a push. I'm gonna give him the kick and the push. It's not the same.
Not only that,
does the kick and the hold up, Jamal, because I'm gonna throw this back at you because we're gonna work this out. So is the kick and the push that he's giving Dre, is that something that should be given to Dre? Because if Dre's on good terms with his marriage, that house is just gonna get sold.
He's not,
because Dre will be no. But I'm saying, how much would Tydell know that Dre wants to leave his wife? Because the only way he would accept a house in Chucalissa is that he has to leave his wife.
No,
there's no balance there where she's just gonna, as the breadwinner, as the key part, is she's willing to give up everything just because he's running for a position that he's not guaranteed to get. That would be insane.
I don't think that he was banking on the fact that Dre wanted to leave his wife. I think he was just banking on the fact that Dre had a dream, that he had bigger visions for him. Considered the wife. He figured that maybe that would work itself out. But but here's the thing. Here's why I'm saying this to you. We have the last few episodes, right? I'm hoping that I'm in order where, yes, we're in order where the Dre watches the video. And he's clearly stating, like, no, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, I believe in you. I'm backing you. Like, I support you. So despite what's going on in his marriage, because he doesn't know what's happening in Dre's marriage, he is only thinking about think about it like this. He's looking at Dre, but all he sees is the little boy in that video that he said, you can do anything that you want. You can do anything that you put your mind to. He's not looking at the whole. It's sometimes you have to see it from a parental point of view, right? Or even just like a guardian of some sort. See my goddaughter, and I'm like, I know she can do XYZ. I'm gonna be like, okay, I might leave one something different than I leave the other should I pass away. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he saw a vision. When you know your kids and they haven't come to you with any sort of dream, something, you got to give me something. But this is a huge responsibility.
Wow. Okay, Young Miami.
Am I willing to gamble the fact that you're going to keep the house? Right, because them kids don't look like they want the house. So I would rather gamble yes, he's not technically blood and he's not family, but I guarantee that he's probably going to do more than what they are going to do with it. And again, the resentment is coming after. But again, like I said, and this happens in Black families a lot, right? You ain't want shit until you knew you wasn't going to get the shit. So you ain't got the shit. Move on and get your shit and go.
I will say, I just want to say this really quickly because I know we have to move on. I will say this. Last season, we've heard Tydell speak to Dre and reference him to being the son he never had.
Mm-hmm.
And
which makes no sense because he had sons.
But here's the thing, though. You laugh, but I'm about to get you together. He has sons, but they have not. He has sons, but they ain't shit. So that's why he's the son that he never had. Because Andre, unlike his children, have accomplished something. So that's why he praises him. And that's why he kept trying to urge him to come back home. Because this is your
before you finish, Jamal, let me give you a little backlash. Because like all of them ain't for age. I know he ain't see the little kids and said, "You ain't gonna be shit."
but he know the mama he nutted in, so your mama ain't shit, you ain't gonna be shit either.
I think your point is correct, but I think it's not necessarily. I don't want to say it's the son I never had because that's fucked up when you have sons. I think it's you're the son I wish I had.
I wish I had, yeah.
I wish you would have been my son. No, meaning I wish you would have been my son. But I'm not saying my younger sons ain't gonna be shit.
I mean, but I just slapped one of the sons up beside the head because they said, when what's his name came by, he said your daddy was a good man. He said, I guess. I'm like, what? Come on.
Hey, but they possibly didn't know their daddy.
But that speaks to the child once the child became grown. Because now this is an investment of what you want in your life, what you want to be influenced by. And I'm speaking from a real place because anyway.
Hold up. I want to speak on that real quick, and then we're gonna go to the next topic after you finish your.
But I ain't get to the last part. Go ahead.
Hold up, damn it! I know I'm gonna let you finish, but when you said that, I had to clutch my little imaginary pearls because I'm like, nigga, wait a minute, like. I had people at my daddy's funeral telling me how great of a man he was. And I said, really?
I ain't know that, man.
I ain't see that shit. What did you see that I didn't see?
Oh, that man. I feel sorry for that,
but
man.
I feel sorry for he could walk down the street. I wouldn't know who he is. Like, but go ahead, Jamal. Finish your thoughts.
I'm not going to do that. But anyway, all I'm saying is that Tydell saw the investment from Dre when he was a child. To an adolescent, to a young man, to a grown man. Mm-hmm. He was grooming him to take his place eventually one day in this great city that he loves so much. Mm-hmm. That's why he was trying to keep influencing him to come home. That's why that's why Tydell wanted Dre to work for him. That's why he invested so much time and effort into him and trying to steer him in that right direction. Because he knew the potential that Dre had. Even if Dre might have acted foolish and didn't see it for himself, and even went against the grain by going against his godfather in some instances, he still knew at the end of the day, even with you going against me, you're being a man of your wills and of your conviction and what I've helped raise you as. So I'm proud of you for being that man. But that's why the house was left to him, because you're gonna be some shit, and I can see you're going to do for the community what I no longer can do and what I was trying to do. I feel like that was Tydell's message in leaving him the house.
What does he do? He calls up Corbin and he says,
"My campaign."
Mm-hmm. Go.
Okay. Again, I just like the point that we got stuck on that topic for a while because
that was a good one.
It was funny, but clearly because we got stuck on that topic, we're gonna have to breeze through some of these other ones until we get to the bigger topics. So next up, Coach's wife, Mercedes, the meetup all over again. As Mercedes thinks Coach is calling her up for a visit, and she finds out it's the wife who calls her for the visit, and then we get. Well, I think we kind of hinted to last episode of what may be the true connection between them two. Just what did you think about this entire scene with Mercedes as she finds out that Coach is going to be a couple of hours away? Then she finds out Coach is not the one who called her, to her having a very, I want to say, central, intimate moment with his wife as they both explored things they never knew they wanted. What did you think about this whole thing, Jamal?
I knew that shit was gonna happen. I knew that shit was gonna happen. I knew it from the day. I knew it from when she was dancing in front of the coach and the wife together.
Yeah.
I just did not know it would be a one-on-one. Like I thought she was going to grab the reins in the threesome, but as we see, there is no more threesome. And first of all, the wife knows what the wife done did that before. She just ain't did it with a woman of Mercedes' stature and her. I don't think it's anything so alluring because as you see when she first met her, she was like, "You just another one of his hoes. You just another one of his women." But I think it was Mercedes' aura and her strength as a woman and being so content within herself that turned her on for her to, hey, wifey, she dove right in, you know. Maya, that's on you.
Maya, what did you think about the entire setup? Wow, he said just dove right in. The entire setup of the scene between Mercedes and Coach Wife, because what I thought one of the best parts is when she broke out her camera and was taking pictures of Mercedes on it, and just everything that they explored with one another, down to at the end with her leaving the stacks of money on the bedside table for Mercedes.
So, like Jamal, I knew it was coming. I knew that it was going to happen for sure because they emphasized the glare, the enamoring in her in Farrah's eyes as she watches Mercedes on the pole for the first time. And so I knew that was going to come because she at that point was intoxicated in a sense with Mercedes. So then of course we have, the whole thing happening with the pictures, and photographers have to be into the subject for the most part in order to capture certain, certain photos, right? So we have that. Then we have the moment with her getting undressed because Mercedes like, oh, I can teach you this. Like this is nothing. I think it's in the back of their heads, but it doesn't actually come out until Mercedes touches her and she's telling her about the twerk muscle, which in fact I need somebody to teach me about because child, I ain't got it. So
I got you. Later on we'll talk about it.
So, but I think that, not with the glasses, I think that the scene is meant to be very sensual. It's meant to be very intimate. It's showing vulnerability in both of them essentially. And so I think that the thing, like Jamal said, is that Farrah notices that Mercedes is very confident in herself. She's very proud of who she is. Yeah, I'm here, but this is a means to an end. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm okay with that. Like I can go to sleep at night, and I'm all right. So I think that just having that moment and Farrah coming clean, I will say I don't think that she's done this before because there was a certain glare in her eye that to me I feel like you can't have with just anybody. I mean, if you put two people together, it doesn't always mean that there's going to be chemistry and there's chemistry there. So I think that they both were definitely interested in what this possibly could feel like, not just sexually, but sensually, intimately, emotionally connecting, spiritually connecting. So I thought it was a very interesting scene. I loved it. I think that moment was kind of snatched away once she notices the money on the table for sure. And so, of course, while it's a great experience and Farrah texts her and says, I can't wait for us to do this again. And I really enjoyed myself. This is still transactional. And so I think it was a bittersweet thing for her because I think she did connect to her in a way that she never connected to anybody. And I think sometimes that's the case for some women who dive into the other side of sexuality when it comes to a woman who's straight and a woman who, and a woman who's curious about being with another woman. So I thought it was very well done. The intimacy that they created in the scene really, really good. And so I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that this happened so soon, if that makes sense. Like I knew it was coming, but I didn't see it happening that fast.
I did. I knew the minute she got her eyes on some Mercedes, she was going to take that Benz for a drive. But I will say, to touch on the vulnerability that you spoke of, because there's strength and vulnerability. The part when she was trying to teach her how to work on how to be on the pole, and she was like, "What if I fall?" She said, "Well, what if you fly?"
Yeah.
I thought that shit was so damn dope. I was like, "Damn, I'm still in that."
Wait a minute,
But
not stripper confidence.
listen, but
Bitch, what
it
you
was.
won't tell me is if I say, "What if I?" Bitch, what if you fly?
But
No, no, no,
that breakdown, even with that, where
no, Mercedes
she's
Kelly,
so
you do not.
vulnerable, and she was like, there was the sensuality in that moment where it's like, I got you, but I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got you, but I got you.
Yeah,
Like, we gonna do this. Like,
that
bitch,
if I can see it, I can do
I can
it.
dream it. Yeah, there you go.
I can dream it.
So moving on.
I believe I can fly.
No.
I believe I can.
We're not going to
sky.
be reciting lyrics
No,
from
get
the
out of
Playground
here.
Pimp. Okay, we're not going to recite lyrics from the Playground Pimp.
Look
Okay,
here, that's the first thing I thought of when she said, "What if I fall? But what if you fly?"
Shut up, Blue. I'm
When I can see it. That's all I thought.
come on.
I'm so over
Okay,
it.
but the next thing is Diamonds return to the Pynk. As after the Pynk is hit with the sanctions, Big L comes through as Big L normally does for Uncle Clifford and the Pynk and gets all the supplies they needed from, as Uncle Clifford said, the warriors of Wakanda bring them in. But then his whole team, the whole family aspect again of the Pynk comes into play here. And all of them come together to make sure or attempt to make sure that the Pynk pass this test. What did you just think about just the camaraderie and the family relationship of all the workers at the Pynk?
I mean, I think that it's dope when you have a work family, when you want to make sure that, listen, if we got to get this done in 24 hours, we finna get it done in 24 hours. I really enjoyed, not only did they come together, but they got food. This was true like community.
Yeah.
It was true family, and I really enjoyed it. It had all the aspects you needed to help, the side talk, right? The gossip at the pool table with the ladies trying to figure out who's going on with Diamond. What's Uncle Clifford's, what is she again?
Grandmother.
Yes.
Grandmother.
Yeah. So just the camaraderie, and I think that is a big part of how we move and how we are for real. Sometimes we forget that that's naturally who we are, because we always kind of see that crab in the barrel mentality Jamal was talking about earlier, or the holding each other down. And so now here we are, and you're like, listen, we got to get this together. People are showing up, even though what's her name, Tori, shows up after her sneezing ass caused the whole, but she's like, no, look, I bought people. And that's really kind of like what happens. Like, somebody fucks it up, and then they're like, damn, how can I make it right? And she comes through with like people to help. And so, of course, with Diamond saying like, y'all never kicked me out the Pynk Posse group chat, I'm here. Let's get it done. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that scene. I do think, of course, we have Diamond going back into that space after he's been out for a while.
Yeah.
And you have that moment of vision with him and Montavious' hand coming out of what looks like a pool of blood. I'm really enjoying the hoodoo spiritual aspect that they're playing and just in this overall season. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen in the episodes to come, for sure. But definitely love how they're making sure that we know that this is still haunting them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like that part for sure.
What's your thoughts, Jamal?
Pretty much to back up what Maya said, I mean, it just showed you communion, fellowship, as it showed us doing what we do best, whereas when one of us fall or we have a crisis, we all gonna band together to make sure that we get the job done. We're gonna uplift each other. We're gonna feed you, because we gotta feed you to get you strong. And we're gonna come together and band together to lift your spirits. So that part of it made me feel good because it's like I know what that looks like. And I've
Yeah.
been there and I've done
Mhm.
that. So it's always a good thing to see that reflected back. So we don't always see the negative.
Mhm.
Diamond, of course, going like she said, going back into the room, it shows you how much I ain't trying to get spiritual, but it shows you how much an essence of energy can take hold and
Mm.
have a physical impression and effect on you. I don't know how many people ever had that experience. I have, but for him to start to choke up and to like get short of breath just by what he's imagining because he knows what took place here and he knows his part in it. You see, it's like he's never going to really come back to the Pynk unless it's to
Mhm.
help in something like this because he knows this building has more in it than just the sense of family,
Right.
but the sense of misfortune and death. And it's just it was good to see him back, but you could tell
Yeah.
that even with him being back, there he's so troubled to be in that space that
Mm-hmm.
we have to we have to see how it all plays out to see if he'll ever feel comfortable again. But the way Big Bone gonna try to make him comfortable.
Oh,
Well, I mean, well, I think it's awesome that Big Bone is played by his actual real life fiance and
mm-hmm.
baby mama. Like they did a great job of that as casting that those two. I don't know if they met on the set, but the point
I
that
feel like they did.
I think they
we
did.
clearly see the chemistry between them two in that scene at the motorcycle. But again, as Jamal pointed out, no matter what, as people, we will get together. We will support each other. We will feed each other, as Amaya said, with
Mm.
those big dinners. Even after Big Mama lost her arm, they still fed each other in soul food. So we will always work together to make sure that we eat. That is one thing. It ain't the right food, but it's gonna be food nonetheless.
It was
But
her leg. It was her leg.
it was her leg. It was Big Mama leg.
She
Okay,
burnt her arm. She lost her
she
leg.
burned her arm. Did they rub butter on her arm after she burnt it?
Hey yo.
She asked for the butter and then she ran it under
I'm
water.
done.
I
I'm
know
done.
it's so.
Don't do that at home. Don't you go putting butter on no burns. You're gonna cook it.
Hey, I'm
Oh,
just saying.
that what that is?
Oh
Yeah.
shit, in my opinion, put burns. But I just
Wondering
want
why
to
she
give
got
a
blistered.
special shout out to Clifford with the
With
Uncle
the Ivy
Clifford.
Park.
Hey, with the Malono Blahnik Tims. Like I didn't notice those.
I think it. I think it.
I was like, oh,
We
looking
gotta
like
give
a
him a
bad bitch with his
special
little
shout out
swoop.
for that.
Yeah.
But the next important thing that happened in this episode to me was when Clifford eardrops and hears Hailey's plans for the Pynk. Here we get the scene that Hailey's having a conversation about what the Pynk is worth with Andre. And she basically says it's worth $10 million, and I'm not willing to sell until I reach my plateau of what this is worth.
Mm-hmm.
But she clearly lets it be known she is willing to sell the Pynk. Again, both of you all have done a beautiful job of explaining why this is like a family environment. What were your thoughts when we finally get confirmation? Because she kind of hinted towards it before with Uncle Clifford in the room, and he didn't really like bat an eye at it. But here, he is extremely upset when he finds out this is something she's actually willing to do. What are your thoughts on that, Amaya?
I mean, I think that he thought that he brought a stray in and he was finna, make her part of the family. And he's hurt. So here's the thing that I've been trying to tell people is that, we have to look at, even though this is a show, it's still the emotion, right? So anger is what's presented, but behind that is pain, it's hurt. So he's hurt and it's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, damn, I brought you in. We took care of you in more ways than one. And you have the audacity to turn your back and sell on us. So I think he thought that maybe she'd change her mind. Maybe she'd come to her senses. Maybe she'd figure out another way or whatever have you. But for him to hear and confirm that she really is going to sell if she gets the right amount of money, and with her having the primary shares, excuse me, he doesn't. Uncle Clifford ain't really got to say. So, while we know that Uncle Clifford is the mouth and the voice, the brains, the blood, the heart, sweat, and tears of the Pynk, Autumn came in, Hailey came in, and she was able to swoop. But like Uncle Clifford said, let's not forget how you got that money, honey. You know what I mean? Let's not forget how you ended up here, why you here, while you sleeping up and in here, acting like you was somewhere else. You know what I mean? First of all, are they got apartments in Tuscaloosa? Because child, I don't know. Anyway, but she, I think now that she's stated, like, yeah, I'm finna, she's also masking her successfulness with she's masking her want to be successful with her pain of having to fend for herself. She has to fend for her. She has to survive. She's in survival mode. She's never come out of survival mode. This was a means to an end. She is literally just trying to figure it out as she goes, but she knows one thing for sure: I need to survive.
What are your thoughts, Jamal, on this scene where Clifford finds out Hailey's true plans?
And in my ratchet, I was like, bust that bitch out. But in reality, I'm just joking. In reality, I was just like, it's. I understand the hurt that Uncle Clifford has because, like you said, it presented as anger, but it was pain, it was hurt. But we also have to. He actually was on point with a lot of things. I was thinking about her being astray. You got to remember, Hailey's been living her life like a gypsy. So she has no sense of loyalty to people, to places, to things that she did not come with. You know what I'm saying? If she did not come with it, she has no sense of importance or feeling or attachment to it. So she's looking at the Pynk as just a place that is of worth because of where it is. She knows the value of it monetarily, but she doesn't know the value of it emotionally. She does. That's why I said that is a place of home to a lot of people, not just because they strippers, but because of the essence. Like, you got to remember, this was grandmother's club.
Strip club.
No, it wasn't a strip club. It was a club. People used to come there to sing. Remember, she said that they used to be singing there. You know what I'm saying?
So grandmother was not selling pussy in the 50s.
Well, maybe in the back, maybe in the back of the club. But the attraction to the club was for the singers and things of that nature.
I knew Morgan Freeman was there.
But you got to remember, like what I'm trying to say is, it's more than just a building. Like Uncle Clifford said, you know what I'm saying? This is his livelihood. This literally is his family's livelihood. This is what his grandmother hustled to keep, and he did his part trying to take it over and keep it in the family. And it's a sense of family. And Hailey she just gives no fucks, and she's just over it. But as you were saying, that she has a sense of, damn, it escapes me now, but she's fighting to show she's a businesswoman, but she's also fighting for survival. She's trying to get her stamp on something. So that's just how I think of it.
Exactly. I think that's a great way to put it, because that's what Hailey shows in this episode, is that in the end, everything for her has been about survival from her situation that led her to, and you said a gypsy, I'm going to say she lived like Jennifer Lopez from Enough, and she had the pixie cut to also live like Jennifer Lopez from Enough. So she was just running away from her issues, and she didn't have a daughter, but she was still running away, and then a black man had to teach her how to stand up for herself. It's literally Jennifer Lopez in Enough. But
out of here. Get this man out of here.
But let's get to, I want to say, possibly the best part for most people of this episode, and the final part we're going to discuss, and that is pertaining to T. Am I saying his name right there? I'm asking.
Tig.
Big T.
Tig. Big T. Big, clearly. And
it was
wild. And him really dealing with the situation of the George Floyd murder. And as it pertains in the episode, we clearly see we even see Miss Mississippi really attached to his thoughts about everything that was going on, and him doing what a lot of us did at this time period, but we couldn't turn off the television, where we were extremely frustrated, like we didn't know where that anger needed to go. And here we see him not understanding where that anger needed to go, and him like just completely just lashing out at everyone until he gets to his safe space. And his safe space just happens to be with Little Murder as he walks in on him on the bathroom and decides to, if you pull your penis out around anybody, another man, while they're in a bathtub, I'm assuming you're doing it because you know that man has
You
no
used
issue
to
seeing your
doing
penis.
it.
Granted, if you have brothers, that's not the case. I have brothers that happens all the time. But if
I got
you,
brothers too.
yeah, it happens all the time. I'm so accustomed to it. I pay no fucking attention. It's irritating. But no, when we were younger, not now, because no. But here we see something that was hinted towards to in the last episode, and that's that they had a past with one another. And here we get, I think, a scene that's just on par with being as sensual as the scene between Mercedes and Coach's wife, because these are two people that truly care for each other. What did you all think about the progression of Big T? I'm gonna call him Big Pause. We'll call him Big T because I'm not sure of his name here. But his progression in this episode of him being the voice of anger of people as they saw that video and had to deal with that video and the ramifications of that video, to him finally being able to, or Little Murder being there for him, and it leading to them having their central moment. And I'm not gonna start with Jamal because clearly I know you niggas out there, y'all thought I would start with Jamal. I'm not gonna start with Jamal. I'm gonna start with Amaya. What were your thoughts of this setup?
I love how they portrayed this, because for sure, one, the dynamic of them bringing Gidget back in for this episode,
Yes.
like, I sure enough wanted that. Ooh, child, just throw her out the window at this point. So I love that it was raw, it was real, because
Yes.
that was exactly what we felt, right? We were angry, we were hurt, we were in pain, we are fucking fed up, we're tired. There's so many different emotions happening because you're like, again, like we're here again. And as a man who has come out of the system, right? He's system, he's fresh into the world, and again, that's really how he's feeling. Like, I know that a lot of people were probably looking at it depends, right? Because I was looking at it from two ways. I looked at it as, yo, he's really like spazzing out because of other stuff, right? Something else happening. But when you think about it, you realize that not only he has multiple triggers around him, right? The trigger is that Gidget don't know how to shut the fuck up, and Home is almost coon like, because he's like, what did he do? Why he got, that's why he got shot. So to have two of those, like to have one of each of those people in your space while
The
you
caucasity of it all.
you fresh out, the slammer, and you here with the man you can't really show public affection to, right?
Yes.
Right.
So there are like so many different things happening, and then you know for sure that you're a black man and it could happen to you, right? You're a black man. The episode, I guess, that they just had when they were in the store, right, with the mask on.
Yes.
So there's if you're like really paying attention to the season, there's so many buildups. There's so many, and so it's all coming crashing down because I shouldn't have to explain myself to you, Rome, and I damn sure ain't explaining myself to Shorty over here with her pasty ass. I loved it. I
White
love it.
devil. You can call it white devil. White
Love
devil.
every moment of the pastiness. But you see his anger, you see his pain, you see his rawness, you see him go into the room with Little Murder, and you see him it's almost a cry for affection or for
Yes.
love, right?
Comfort.
Right, because
Help.
yeah, because he's in here recording. You know damn well you shouldn't become like we all know this. We know people when they record.
I done did that same trick before to women.
Don't talk.
Women.
So,
Like, you pull your joint out right there, and you be like, I gotta use the bathroom anyway. It's a move to get to break the ice for them, it seemed like.
So, for Lil Murder to say, like, I know you ain't okay. Like, what's up? Like, tell me what's going on. It's a very intimate, passionate moment. He's saying that I'm here for you. T goes on this, and I love that I really love this.
I was gonna ask you about that too. The speech he gave about what it meant to be a nigger. Like, no matter what place in life I am,
I love it.
I'm not accepted by you. No matter where I am in life, I'm not accepted by you.
And it's real. And that's the truth. That's the unfortunate fucking hard. That's the pill that's stuck in our throat because it's super hard to swallow. Like there's no, like you can't tell, like no amount of pressing my hair, no amount of suits you could wear, no amount of whatever car you drive, like it still wouldn't matter because
no matter what you do.
I don't know who directed this scene, or not who directed, but maybe who wrote this specific episode. But it was just.
I think her name is this woman, because the middle portion of her nickname was Cookie. I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'm mad at the top of my head. I can't remember again. I'm sorry because we get screeners, so I see it for a minute and I can't remember. But she, if it is, I'm assuming it is a woman. But a phenomenal job of directing this episode.
Yeah. So. But to wrap up, I feel like they did a great job at showing all of the emotions that we all have had, that we all still experience, and then having this intimate moment where some might not see it as intimate, but I think that the connection of doing what they've done before, right? Having the opportunity to do what they've done before, to have that moment for Lil Murder to say like, hey, I got you. And then unfortunately, we all right after, my nigga's he over here in the windowsill reading the car. Who is Clifford? So
not only that,
please stop there. Please stop there, because I want to take it. Over.
I'm about to say, yeah, we're gonna get into that part because I know Jamal want to talk about that too. But I just want to say, the speech part is, to me, one of the most impactful moments of this scene. I, again, as a lover of film, a lover of cinema, I absolutely love that entire scene with him and Little Murder. As you see from the little touches that Little Murder gives him, the rubbing on his hand, the rubbing on his beard, of basically show how much I love you. Like, I know this is bothering you. What do we need to talk about? It reminds me of the poster behind me for Moon Knight. Right there from my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Moon Knight. Yeah. Like it's all of that. So Jamal, I know you're ready to go in, my brother, and I'm going to let you go in on this scene. But I'm going to first do something that's going to possibly, or say something that's going to throw you off, because I love humor here. So, what did you think about T being a bottom? I said I was gonna throw him off.
I cannot stand you at all.
Hey, I did not. Okay.
All right, if I'm gonna keep it, we gonna go there. You want to go there? Let's move it up. Let's move it up and go in. Let's move it up and go in. All right.
Because you would know better than me.
Yeah,
you're right. That.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put it to you like this.
I understood it with him and Clifford, but here I'd assume because. But the moment they start getting into it and he put a little condom on his finger and he did like that, I said, oh.
So I'm going to say this. I've seen bigger, burlier, more masculine presenting that can touch their toes better than any female I know. So that's why I'm going to leave it right there. So don't sleep on how a person presents, because you never know. I done seen the press on somebody's back to get them, It ain't mine, but I'm just saying, I've seen it and I've heard the story. But
What
I'm
you?
gonna take it to a different situation. I'm gonna get serious real quick
Oh no,
because
no, that's why
this.
I did the comedy first because I knew like
I
this is a
know, no, no,
very
no, no.
serious
Because, but
thing.
I'm gonna take it back to some jokes at the end. This this scene, the struggles that Tig was having with everything that was going on with the news, it was very triggering to me because I actually had this conversation with someone, um, 2 years ago during all of this, to be a black gay man in America with all of
Yeah.
this going on. You know, we coast. I can't speak for all black gay men, but I can speak for myself. It's a constant code switch because you can't be too gay, you can't be too
Mm,
black, you can't be too affirmative, but you damn sure can't be too submissive to everything that's going on because you have all these labels, all these targets around you. And for Tig, he was triggered by so much. And I think him being in that space with Gidget and with Uncle Ruckus,
no,
because I do not.
there
There
you
you go,
go.
Teak.
Yeah.
Uncle Ruckus. I'm going to call him Uncle Ruckus because he is the biggest coon that I'm seeing on this show right
Mm,
now. Because the simple fact of it bothers me because I just listened to a podcast earlier saying the same thing. Why is the question of what did he do? Why is that always asked
mm,
rather than why did he have to die?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let that be the question first, because the police are trained in multiple ways to disarm a person. Why is murder the only way they know how to go? But we ain't gonna go political right now because that's gonna piss me off even more when I'm getting hot. But all of those things were triggering to him, and it almost I pick up on little things, and the privilege of Gidget really latched on when they was in the
mm,
car because how quickly she was to change the station when they're reporting on the news because she wants to shake her ass. This is important. You are the only white person in a vehicle of 5 blocks, and you think you about to just ignore this? That's just like how white America ignores the struggle and the oppression that the black
mm.
people had in this country. Call
Yeah.
it spade a spade. I'm not. It's just angry. I mean, it's triggering me. I'm sorry
Hey, it take.
because it
I
is. It
understand because
is.
I'm there now. Yeah.
It is very emotional for me because it's like, especially I feel for Trig because he has to always walk with this guard on and this gear on of protecting himself because he can't show all his frustration, and then he's getting irritated with Teak because it's like, are you not aware of what goes on, or are you just deciding to be blatantly ignorant to the cry of your black community amongst America? This is our cry while we're rioting, and how we've been oppressed and how we have had, you know what I'm saying? It only happens to us.
Right.
And then the go to the situation with him and murder. I'm just going to speak through it because if I really said how I felt, I wouldn't be able to get through it. I'm just going to keep it real. Um, the situation with him and murder, whoever was the director, whoever was the videographer, they did an exceptional job because, like you said earlier, that same sensuality that was between Mercedes and Farrah, I
Hmm.
think you said her name was the coach's wife, was
Yeah.
there too, and it showed, of course, they've been here before, and,
Yeah.
and but what I appreciated here, which we didn't get with him and Uncle Clifford, was he gave more passion. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just some like let me get it in, like it was with Clifford off the first, and then they got to the passion later
Hmm.
on. It was like I know this body, I know what gets you high, I know. It was beautiful to me, but it was in a different type of. It wasn't a lust thing; it was an emotion that
Mm.
was
Yeah.
there. Like it was passion between the two, not just lust. And I think that's what I appreciated from this scene because you got to see he knows how to touch me to make me feel good. And I know how to, it was a lot. It was a lot. But the kicker for me at the end was the fact of my man sitting in the window. Who the fuck is Clifford? You
Right.
know,
Hey.
and I I've been away. You've been out all this time. I ain't never get no postcards. I ain't
Hey.
never get no letters. And how funny is it that at the brink of this situation going down between them, Uncle Clifford finally texts back. You
Yeah.
alright? Yo, it was so funny to me, and I'm glad that shit happened because
that's how it
it
really does.
got to. It really goes down like that. First of all, it got to show how homosexual couples, even though they're not a couple, how it really goes down. So America can stop thinking that we all just some ladies, tipping each other over here and there. We all come in different states, situations. And then it also shows the drama. Like they was going. It sounded like a baby mother going back and forth with her baby father. So I love that part. I can't wait to see what goes on. But it, ooh, I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up for me. Like, bitch. All I can say was bitch. Like that was my reaction. Like I was almost in the screen like this. Like
I think this is a highly important episode.
It definitely is.
I try to give my opinion to lead to them two having a conversation about it because that's what works for this show with us. But here and everything I've been hearing that, oh man, I wish they would skip past the COVID stuff. This is why you don't skip past it. It's too important. It's too much. It's too many other issues that came up that if we weren't in a house to realize it, we would have brushed past it.
Thank you.
For them to even bring up George Floyd's murder here,
right?
Would we have paid attention to it if we were still outside and everything was normal? We probably would have brushed past it. It's too important of a thing for us to just brush past it. I loved again Tig's speech about what it means to be.
I don't stop calling this man Tig. His name is Teak.
I thought it was Tig. Tig. You know, it could probably be Tig, and they just pronounce that shit as Tig. I bet you see.
Yeah, I'm about to say a little birdie accent. Yeah, they got accents. But Teak. Okay, I'm gonna say Teak right now.
His speech almost made me cry for real.
But yeah, like it was highly important because that's something. No matter what walk of life you are as a black man, you think about every day. Like I can't. No matter what I do, I'm never not going to be a threat to you. Yeah. And the point that's the case is a huge problem, as Jamal and Amaya pointed out. To have Gidget on here and the caucasity of her speech, the privilege that goes into it, of thinking. And I'm sorry if this comes across as me sounding angry, but bitch, if you don't just learn how to shut the fuck up in a situation where it has nothing to do with you,
that's also very raw and very real because there's a lot of inciting that happens that also causes trouble for because
like I don't get triggered by things. I got extremely triggered by her attempting to stand up to him, and it's like, no, this ain't your place.
This ain't your fight.
I got triggered by Rome saying, but what did he do?
Yeah.
Nick, do you not understand?
And he a big nigga too. Like, what that got to do with anything?
That's what they say about any black person.
But hold on.
What did you do? Why do I have to do something? You know what? I did do something. I existed. Because I existed, I became your threat.
A threat.
That's the problem. This is why, again, I brought it up about the COVID thing, and I only brought it up because I heard other people talking about it. But this is why we can't skip over it. It's too important. At the end of this episode, they listed all of the names of people we lost in 2020. Those are people from COVID. Like, do you not understand how important this is? I understand we want to fast forward and pretend that this moment never happened in our history. It happened. It is something we have to deal with. Not just COVID, but everything that happened with COVID, along with us as
the murderers
finally deciding to say enough is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I won't allow you to paint me as your threat anymore. I love that.
Yeah.
As it pertains to Uncle Murder and Teak, because
Uncle Murder.
Little Murder.
I mean, wow. Little Murder.
But did he call him Uncle? Didn't what's the name call him Uncle Murder when they was at the beauty spot?
Little Murder and Teak, like that, I believe scenes like that are highly important in the black community because we have no issue showing women in that same atmosphere, that same space, but we do a horrible job of showing men in that space and showing that yes, the sensualness of that scene exists. It's no difference between the two. Whether you watching that scene, whether you're watching Moon Knight, which is one of my favorite movies, once you're watching, even though I hate the person who made it, but B-Boy Blues, who that is currently about to be
I heard it's really
BET
good.
Plus, like things of that nature. It's necessary to show these things in the Black community because as a community, all of us here to exist. As Jamal said, and it's sad because we do see between Little Murder and Teak is that they can't live a free life because they still have to hide a portion of themselves. And this episode does a great job of pointing that out. But it also not only points out them hiding themselves, it points out Coach Wife Farrah hiding herself. It points out Hailey hiding herself from the actual person she is. Like it does a great job of giving you correlations between people,
right?
Where you can see that all of these people are the same, and how this moment affected everybody, down to Roulette, who said this affected me because this is my brother, down to Big L, who brings to Roulette like you remind me of my daughter. Like it's so much powerful stuff in this episode. And I'm going to end it because I don't get emotional. I've been drinking because I done switched to red wine from my whiskey because we kept on going.
It should have been named Hidden Figures. That's what the episode should have named because there were so many figures hidden in this episode that was.
I think we can agree this is one of the most important episodes that P. Valley has ever done. And it was done extremely well. It was written well, it was directed well, it was shot well, it was acted. Like everything about this episode was done to a level that I believe P. Valley hasn't done at a lot. They do it well when they do it, but this is something that decided we're going to dig a little deeper into it and give you more about the characters, and that's the most important part of it. Any final thoughts, Jamal, Amaya? Any final thoughts on this episode?
I just love how so far in P Valley's existence, I know people going to hate it and it's going to be comments. Only the gays is getting it in. Only the gays is getting it in. Okay. We have now seen a collective of like 4 or 5 sex scenes, and they all gay. I love it. And it's Pride Month. How fitting that it happens in Pride Month.
Amaya,
for me, this is a pivotal episode. I think that this definitely shifts what happens for the rest of season 2. So I'm really excited to see what they do. I am grateful that this is just a phenomenal Black show, and the fact that we are seen, that we are heard, especially in this episode, where we're shown in our vulnerable state of what it really looks like to be weighed down with a sense of feeling, like how the nation gets shocked and shook. I think they just did an amazing job with this. So this is by far my favorite episode. And I'm just so excited to see the remainder of the season.
Hey, exactly. Again, episode 4 P Valley. You can tune in to Big Gold Belt as we're going to drop this episode along with every other episode of P Valley for the season that we are covering right after the episode airs. Also, after this episode drops and episode airs, tune in for our after discussion podcast with Amaya and Shima as they go over the episode of P Valley in a different perspective, because that's highly important as we get 2 amazingly beautiful, talented women talking about this and breaking it down in a way that possibly I can't, the way Jamal can't. And it's something different that we're throwing out with P Valley because we feel this is an important show where more content is important. Also, check out any other thing we got going on Big Gold Belt. Constant shows, constant movies, constant everything, constant interviews. We're doing everything humanly possible here. Next, we're going to start stripping. It's going to be everything on Big Gold Belt. We're bringing you everything humanly possible. So, a one-stop shop for everything humanly possible.
I love y'all.
Thank you.
Yes. Until next time.
Peace, people.